Hello everyone, it's Vivi and welcome to another Jak and Daxter video. To think, there wouldn't be any more surprising discoveries when it comes to Jak and Daxter. Well, about that. It seems the Precursor Legacy has one little extra hidden secret which none of us knew about until a couple of detectives went on a full-on adventure. Very recently, an unused cutscene has been discovered within this game. Yeah, I know, crazy, right? After all these years, we come to realize that a game such as the Precursor Legacy still holds unknown secrets such as this one. There's actually a very interesting story behind this discovery. I happened to stumble on this clip thanks to Luminar Light. If you're not too familiar with that name within the Jak and Daxter community, well, he has a channel based around technicalities of such series. In other words, a very dedicated researcher of the series. His channel features beta, alpha content, unused content, a lot of content surrounding debug mode, and even gameplays of early demos. Now the link to Luminar's channel will be in the description below. And before I forget, thank you Luminar for letting me showcase this in the video. With that said, just what exactly are we looking at here, and how was this even discovered? Before we jump into the details, I'll play the cutscene for you.
Those two could prove to be trouble.
Don't worry, dear brother. I'll dispatch my lurker army to deal with them.
Just make sure they don't get too close to our northern operations.
I doubt they'll get that far, but if they do, a surprise will be waiting for them in Rock Village.
So, you're going to let Claw out of his cage?
I think it's worth a risk.
Indeed.
Really? To answer the first question, we have Gol and Maia on Misty Island. In Luminar's video, there's a couple of variants used, one with the village loaded, one without any village, the other with actual Misty Island loaded with the village in the background. You probably noticed that the lighting differs depending on what's being loaded in this cutscene, making it seem like some color palettes are different. Definitely seems like lighting is a key factor here. As for the second question, how was this discovered? According to the description of the video, the actual cutscene itself was discovered by Funki Delire using a PCSX2 tool called Luminar Light Trainer. Yes, a universal tool which allows you to sort of manipulate the emulated version of the games. One example here, you can move from one checkpoint to another with a simple click of your mouse, as well as choose field music to your own liking, even unused ones. This tool is being aimed at supporting all sorts of builds. Luminar explains that it's still being worked on. So using this trainer tool, Funki Delire was able to load the intro level of the game Misty Island, which later on in the game you visit using the fisherman's speedboat after capturing 200 pounds of fish. Looking at this clip by Funki Delire, Gol is interactable, and then you have Maia, T-posing right there, asserting, her dominance. The island in this state is very minimal. Once you appuie sur cercle pour parler, French for press circle to talk, this cutscene plays. However, this scene plays with absolutely no audio. So you may be wondering, okay, where did the audio come from? According to Luminar, there's a private build of the Precursor Legacy out there somewhere. At one point, they acquired the audio for this cutscene. They didn't know it was for this cutscene, they just had this mysterious audio file. Although they acquired this audio in the past, they still don't have access to that private build. Luminar also added, interacting with Gol plays an unused cutscene, but its audio is missing. We found it somewhat familiar, so Larry Lemmy overlaid our audio from the private build with this cutscene using video editing tools, and it matched. Thanks to Water111, we learned the name of the audio the game was looking for. Luminar also explained that although the audio and cutscene matched, it still was slightly out of sync. A probable reason for that, according to him, well, this scene probably was never finished. In fact, if I replay the cutscene with audio, you can hear the devs say something like the word, "Really?"
I think it's worth a risk.
Indeed.
Really?
Another thing you've probably realized, Gol's heavy voice filter is absent. Yes, he still has that deep raspy voice, but that filter from the final build, it's not there.
Continue your search for artifacts in Nico. If the locals possess precursor items, you know what to do. Those two could prove to be trouble.
Don't worry, dear brother. I'll dispatch my lurker army to deal with them.
Just make sure they don't get too close to our northern operations.
His voice is much more muffled in, the final game. Judging from what was discussed between these two, this was perhaps planned to play out sometime after exiting Misty Island. As a matter of fact, Rock Village happens to be brought up in their conversation, and how they want to set Claw loose and cause havoc. Rock Village would happen much later in the game, so logically this must have at least taken place before Rock Village and Claw, obviously. Not to mention Gol saying our northern operations, fearing that Jak and Daxter would discover their operations in the north. Samos did explain to Daxter about Gol having studied Dark Eco and, who lives on the far north. As to why this scene got scrapped, who knows really? Time constraints maybe? Maybe they didn't want to reveal too much of Gol and Maia's personality at first. Not saying they didn't want to reveal the shady side of these two characters, after all, in the actual intro of TPL, they already are perceived as the bad guys. But alas, what this scene would have added to the game? Simply a bit more background on these characters, their intentions for Jak and Daxter, especially how Claw was actually part of their plan. You might have the following question before I end off the video. Are there more hidden cutscenes, say, according to Luminar? Well, looking at the comments of the video itself, he believes there's more cutscenes in the game hidden somewhere, but unfortunately they just don't have the method to uncover those other hidden cutscenes. So, with that being said guys, all relevant links will be in the description below, and I have to say, the fact that stuff like this is still getting uncovered from the Precursor Legacy, it's absolutely fantastic to look at. And yeah, as always, I've been Vivi, thank you for always sticking around, and yeah, until next time.